will be your MC for today. I am from the Rotaract Club of St. John's, and I'm currently the vice president. So I'm going to be here today to kind of keep everybody on track and keep things moving and grooving. So we're very excited to have you all with us today. We're excited that we have interactors, Rotaractors, and Rotarians, a couple of representatives of all levels of the Rotaract family, which is very exciting for us. I want to give you a quick little rundown of how today's kind of going to go. First, we're going to hear from our host clubs and our host districts with the presidents and the governor or the district governors. And then we're going to move into some awesome group presentations. So these are presentations from Interact clubs and Rotaract clubs from our districts, so that we can hear a little bit about the awesome projects that they've been doing in the last year or so. We're also going to hear from a Rotarian who was once a Rotaractor, and she's going to tell us a little bit about how not scary it is to transition from one to the other. Then we're going to hear from our keynote speaker, Mr. Barry Rassin, who is the Rotary International president in the 2018-2019 Rotary year. So we're very excited to be able to have him with us today. Then we're going to take a little lunch break from 12 to 12:30. That's Atlantic time, so it'll be more of a 1 to 1:30 thing if you're in Newfoundland. And after lunch, we're going to hear from Ms. Martha Graham, our social media expert. We'll hear from Emily Benson. She's going to tell us some great stories about her trip to vaccinate people against polio. We'll hear from Katie Stairs, who is our mental health expert for the day, as well as Steph Christensen, who is a representative from Shelterbox Canada. So just a couple of housekeeping items before we get moving. Please keep yourself muted when you're not talking. Unless you have any questions, then you can feel free to unmute yourself, or you can throw it into the chat box, and then we'll make sure that somebody addresses it before we move on to the next presentation. There is going to be time for questions at the end of all of the presentations and all the speeches. So if you wouldn't mind holding your questions to the end, or just throwing them into the chat box, that will help things run a little bit more smoothly today, because we always encourage engagement where we can. It's totally up to you, but we suggest choosing speaker view. If you go into the top right-hand corner of your Zoom box there, you'll see a little kind of like 9 dots in a square, and it says view. If you choose speaker view, then only the person who is talking is going to show up on your screen, which sometimes can be a little bit less distracting. We will be recording today. So please feel free to turn on your cameras, give us a little wave, show us your best side for the morning. And if you're experiencing any issues today, please send a private message in the chat to Holly Thompson. You can see that her name there says Holly Tech Support. She is our tech support wizard, and she will be able to help you through any problems, hopefully. But hopefully there won't be any problems anyway. And please feel free to take any pictures today, any videos, anything that you want. And if you want to share them on social media, we're trying to make a little bit of hype around this event. So if you do share it, we're trying to use the hashtag ARC2021. And please feel free to post that on the Rotaract or the Atlantic Rotaract Conference event page. Perfect. So does anybody have any questions about any of that before we move forward?